Hey, what's up and welcome back to Fiverr Talks, everybody. Thanks for being here. Today, we're talking about one of Fiverr's brand spanking new features, Fiverr Subscriptions. That's right, today we're talking all about Fiverr Subscriptions, but before we jump in, let me introduce myself in case you're new. My name is Joel Young. I've been a seller on Fiverr since 2013, one of Fiverr's all-time top earners and a top-rated seller, and every week right here, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we shoot videos just like this to help you become the best Fiverr seller you can be, so if you're interested in that, click subscribe down below and come back for more great content. Okay, so many of you have been asking, I've been talking to the Fiverr Talks insiders about Fiverr Subscriptions. What is it going to be? Fiverr's been teasing it, and last week they finally released it to a select group of sellers. This is a brand new way to sell your services on Fiverr, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what it is today, and I'm going to give you my initial thoughts. Now realize that these are just my opinion. These are my thoughts, not having used it, but just looking at it as a sales strategy, as a Fiverr seller, selling creative services, been on the platform for almost 10 years, saying, how does this work? These are my initial thoughts. But first, I will tell you what it is and who it's for, because it's not for everybody, at least right now. So as of right now, Fiverr has only rolled subscriptions out to select sellers in select categories, meaning if you didn't get an invitation last week, which looked like a notification in your message center, if you didn't get that, then you weren't invited. And that either means that they didn't choose you or you're not in a select category that fits with the subscription model that they're trying to get started, at least in the beginning. They allude to the fact that they'll maybe add more categories in the future, but all of that is probably going to depend on how the initial beta test or select seller run goes. So what is Fiverr Subscriptions? Well, if you offer them, you'll have a little badge on your Fiverr gig, and you'll be able to offer your buyers 3 or 6 month subscriptions to your service, meaning that every month they're charged a certain amount, whatever you set, and you provide a certain amount of work to them in that calendar month. And it's meant to benefit sellers, allowing them to know how much money, or at least with more predictability, how much money they've got coming in each month. And the way that it's enticing to buyers is that sellers are supposed to offer some kind of discount for signing up for 3 to 6 months of subscribed services. They'll receive a discount. So this is the way Fiverr has set it up, and this is the way that they think it will be most beneficial to both buyers and sellers. The key is that you're building relationships with buyers here, and that's what Fiverr wants because it really leads to a better end product. The more you work with someone, the better you work with someone, and the more predictable that your services can be to them, and thus the higher their satisfaction every time they have an interaction with you and your service. It's really not any more complicated than that. A buyer is agreeing to pay a set amount for a certain amount of work every single month in exchange for a little discount, and sellers get more consistency. So what are my initial thoughts? Well, before I give them to you, I thought I'd ask you a question. Sound off down below for our question of the day. Today's question is, were you invited to be a part of the subscription program? I want to know how many of you were given this invite, and if you were given this invite, how many of you are going to try it out? Let us know in the comments below. Okay, ready for my thoughts now? I thought you were. Let's jump right into it. My first thought is that this feature is only going to work for a small portion of sellers. This is not something that I see working for 75% of all Fiverr sellers. It's not something I see working for 50% of Fiverr sellers. It's something that I see working for maybe 10, 15, 20% on the high side. It's something that you have to have a very specialized, certain type of service to be able to offer, which is why Fiverr is limiting it to certain categories like virtual assistants and voiceovers and SEO, people that have recurring services. So my initial thought is, while it's kind of cool that they're thinking out of the box, this is not something that's going to benefit or even work for most of you out there who are Fiverr sellers. If you're a designer, if you're a copywriter, you can't design a logo for somebody every month. The normal customer won't need a new logo every month. You have to have a renewable service that people need over and over and over again. Another thought I had is that many of you are going to say, I already have regular customers that come back and order from me week after week or month after month or every couple months, and I don't have to offer them a discount for it. You see, you don't have to offer a discount to offer subscription packages, but people won't be incentivized to use them if they're not getting some sort of discount. So the question is, do you even need to discount your services in order to get somebody to come back regularly? In my experience, the answer is probably no. Now, might you earn some regular customers that you wouldn't otherwise? Maybe, but I'm not really sure. The jury's out on that. What I do know is that many of you already have regular customers who find the Fiverr interface easy enough to come back and purchase from you when they want to or need to, and you don't have to offer them a discount to do that. So it's a bit of a negative, risky move for some of you to offer a discount for regular work when you're already getting it without the discount. Another thought I had, which was prompted by many of your questions about the subscription service, is that this is not intended to help you set up a membership site or be a competitor to something like Patreon for content creators. This is simply a way for creative sellers who are already selling on Fiverr to offer a more steady way for customers to pay and an incentive for them to stick with you for multiple projects or multiple months of service in a row. This is not something more than that. It's not like Fiverr's dipping their toe into, the membership site side of things. That's not how it's set up, and that's not how it'll work. So don't put it in that framework. Don't think of it any differently than what you might already think of as a regular payment on Fiverr from someone that's set up to come out automatically. All right, and my final thought on this subscription feature is that most buyers will find it unnecessary. They'll say, well, I'm not sure if I need regular work. I'll just come back and order every time I need new work. And thus, if someone's actually going to use it, they're probably going to require that discount. They need the incentive to be a subscriber versus a regular buyer, which, like I said before, may not be worth it to you, but it's about the only way that it makes sense for a buyer. As a buyer myself, I wouldn't do something like that unless I get a discount. It's just like anything else. When you go to pay, it's something that's either, $6 a month or $50 for a year. You pay for the full year because you get that discount. So if you're not willing to offer a discount to do subscriptions, I can't see why any buyer would jump on there. And I also feel like buyers are probably going to be hesitant at first with this new feature because they know how Fiverr has worked in the past, and the people that are going to be most likely to use this feature are heavy Fiverr users who have been doing this, buying for a long time, and are ready to try something new, but I think it's going to take some enticement to get them to try it. Like I said in the beginning, I think it all comes down to your individual service. Is it something that you can package and roll up into a month-to-month subscription? Is it something that people need every month? And it's the reason Fiverr has limited it to categories like architecture and interior design, mixing and mastering for audio, SEO work, social media marketing, video editing, virtual assistants, and voiceovers. Those are the categories you can do this with right now. But I personally think that's a pretty small portion of sellers, maybe a small portion of you all. I know subscriptions are all the rage, and everything from Birchbox to Netflix is a subscription in our life, but for creative services, I think it's probably more convenient both for the buyer and for the seller to continue to sell them project by project, because buyers that like your work will come back and work with you again when and if they have the need. Hey, before today's video is done, I just want to invite you to something very cool and special coming up here on February 17th. Fiverr is going to be having an 11th birthday celebration, and I, yours truly, will be the host for that event. It'll be Zoom, it'll be virtual, and so if you're interested in joining in with the Fiverr community, meeting more Fiverr sellers, doing some fun stuff with us, it's going to be a 90-minute birthday celebration. Fiverr will be putting more details out in the coming weeks, and I'll share the details here when I hear more of them, but I would love for you to come over there and join us for that birthday celebration, and I'm proud that they asked me to be a part of it and host the event. So hopefully we'll see you there. All right, well, if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting this button right up here and subscribing. If you're looking for another video to watch, maybe this is a good one. And if you like the content, give me a thumbs up. I love creating it for you. Come back every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and until then, keep doing, because the future favors the doers.